Hi, so I've had the flu recently, and today is the first day that I haven't felt like absolute death. Thank you, eBay notification. I really needed that at the start of my video. Anyways, I have some thoughts that I wanted to voice about the R. Kelly documentary, as well as some realizations that I've had recently about how much we as a society have collectively encouraged a culture that allows people to get away with this type of behavior. So let's get into that. What really struck me about the R. Kelly documentary was how many people were complicit in allowing these underage women to be abused. How many people knew exactly what was happening and chose to ignore it in favor of making money. This is not an isolated incident. This is not the first time that young women have been exploited by older men in order to profit off of them. What I really started to think about was how many female pop stars, during the time that all of this stuff first started to come out about R. Kelly, how many female pop stars were underage and also being sexualized and exploited in the media. We all kind of let that happen. Now, let me preface this by saying I love Christina Aguilera. I love Britney Spears. I think that they have done some amazing work. Without a doubt, they have an amazing body of work. Nobody can question that. And I mean, Christina is one of the best voices in history ever, period. That being said, I think it's really important, if we don't want this type of thing to happen anymore, that we acknowledge how over-sexualized teenage and underage girls are. How we force these young women to grow up and act like adult women because their bodies are starting to develop to a point where, on the outside, they do look more like a woman. Here's the thing. Baby One More Time. That was a great music video. I mean, iconic. I have watched it so many times, but I began to feel deeply uncomfortable about it when I realized A, just how young Britney was when she filmed that, and B, we kind of encouraged this persona around her of that she wasn't old enough to be legal. So, men were supposed to want her but then feel guilty for wanting her because, she could get you in trouble. And how much we excused her over-sexualization because, oh, well, she's just precocious. Oh, well, she's okay with all of it, so it's fine. And I think that's been the attitude for a long time in pop culture. The attitude has been, well, if the underage girl is okay with it, then she's just sexually precocious. She's just a Lolita. We're supposed to, stay away from her, but we can secretly want her. We can fantasize about her without feeling guilty. I can see how that directly fed into a lot of people ignoring the whole R. Kelly situation. You know what? I'm not going to call him R. Kelly. The whole Robert Kelly situation. How many other pop stars in the public eye at that time were underage and also being sexualized? That shapes the way that you look at teenage girls. And that shapes the way that teenage girls look at themselves. And the same thing with Christina Aguilera. Her debut song was Genie in a Bottle. You gotta rub me the right way. Which, looking back at it, is a little bit awkward now too, because you realize just how young she was. And I think we can directly see how much being over-sexualized hurt these young women as they got older. I mean, especially Britney with the whole breakdown and everything. And I'm not going to say that there wasn't some mental illness that played into her 2007 very infamous breakdown. But I can't imagine that being sexually exploited by your parents, by your managers, and being told, oh, you're okay with all of this, and actually probably starting to believe, yeah, I'm okay with all of this, because that's the thing. Teenage girls want to feel beautiful. They want to feel like a woman. They want to feel like they're coming into their sexuality. And it is the job of grown-ups not to exploit that. Teenage girls do not have the ability to consent to being displayed in such a manner. And it's damaging later in life. It's also damaging for all of the other young women consuming that media, myself included, to be watching that and feeling like that's the ideal that you should be living up to at 16. If you're not that, then you're not doing it right. That you should want to be displayed for the pleasure of overage men who should have no business wanting to look at you that way. Both of these women chose to come out and make very overtly sexual albums as soon as they came of age, which I'm all for. I'm not like slut shaming here. I'm not saying that a woman can't choose to display herself in that way if she wants to. There is a difference between sexual subjectification and sexual objectification. But when you have been taught that your main value lies in your sexuality, your main value is how many men want to sleep with you, of course you're going to come out and make albums like that. And, you know, that's fine. They can do whatever they want. But at the same time, we have to stop this culture that says it's okay for a young woman to put herself out there that way, even if she's not of age, as long as she's okay with it. Because that directly slips into the mentality of it's okay for an overage man to have sex with an underage girl as long as she's okay with it. Because no, she may think that she's okay with it, but it will have lasting consequences. It hurts young girls' self-esteem greatly to think that that's how it's supposed to be. And I think that directly fed into how we ignored everything happening with Robert Kelly. Because I think there was this attitude that if these girls want it, then we can look the other way because he's super talented and everybody wants to be able to listen to the Ignition remix. And you know what? It's sad, but I hope that we can use this time in our culture to actually examine how we choose to look at young women. Because everybody who consumed that media of Britney at 16, 17, everybody who didn't have a problem with that has directly fed into this problem. Now, nobody is responsible for what Robert Kelly chose to do except for himself and the people that were bringing young women back and forth to his home and dropping them off afterwards. But I think we can all take a look and examine ourselves to see how we can stop feeding into a society that says an underage girl who wants it is a Lolita. Because guess what? Lolita was raped, and if you actually read the novel, she was 12 years old when her assault happened. And every predator is going to make that excuse. But she wanted it. But she was okay with it. I don't care if that girl says that she's okay with it. She is a child still, even if her body doesn't look like it. And she does not have the ability to consent to what is happening. So, I just wanted to get all those thoughts out before they left my head. I'm thinking about trying to make videos more regularly. I can't make any promises because I am a flake, but I really enjoy doing this, and I think that it's important to use our voices to talk about important topics as they're happening. Because if we don't acknowledge it, how can we ever hope to change it? There was a time when I thought Me Too would never happen. There was a time when I thought that we would forever live in a society that ignored all the creeps that we knew were in Hollywood and just say, well, they're talented and we don't want to have to sacrifice their music or their art or their films. So, let's just sweep it under the rug. So, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later.